Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
And we'll see right now, we see the dollar is strong compared to everything. Again, I'm looking at pretty much primarily these lower two charts, the ones that are kind of with the gray background. This is my 30-minute chart, and this is my 30-minute. This is my 15-minute. This is the one. This is the 5-minute. This is one where you're going to start seeing a lot of the retracements and pullbacks when everything else is stable down here. These are the two main that I'm looking at. So I'm looking at pretty much the U.S. strong. U.S. yen and British pound are strong on these two charts. Swiss franc, Aussie, New Zealand dollars are weak. Preferably try to trade the top three against the bottom three. So we'll keep that in mind as we go along this way. Check the news for today. Today is May 28th, Friday. And you'll see there's some little red for core PC, little orange folder here at 8:30 on the U.S. dollar. Nothing too exciting to get too concerned about. 945 Chicago PMI. Again, not red folder, they're orange, so they have a little bit of an impact. I don't get too upset or worried about it. But if we start seeing some moves around 8:30 and 945 against the US dollar, we may want to just keep that etched in the back of our minds. And let's see if I don't have to much with that one. And let's go to the charts. Now, today is, I kind of like to call this Fridays, as especially when we're at the end of the month, end of the weeks and everything. If we can find a trade, we'll take it. But if you have some other thing in particular that you want to get clarified or ask some questions, feel free to do so in the question and answer box. And if depending on how time goes and what things are, maybe we can even let you turn your mic on and actually talk to us if you have something you'd like to specifically like to say. Raise your hand and we can bring you over and let you open your mic, and so you can see what you have to say. So I was looking at something that I found to be somewhat interesting today as I was paging through this thing, but let's see, let's go back to, remember we were talking about the US dollar, the euro, and the yen, I believe is what the top three were. Swiss franc was weak. You can see the Swiss franc is the second currency of this pair. It's weak compared to the British pound. That was one of our three weaker pairs. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. We'll take a look at this one real quick on the 15. It's up in the red zone. Nothing too exciting with that. We're up in the upper. It's starting to break out near the top of this. Let's wait for it. If it does break out of this 100% range, which was yesterday's high, we may want to be thinking about, we may want to wait for a pullback to get up and see how much higher it's going to go. Right now, I'm not too excited about this. Let me just pull the, put the template up to reload the template. And we'll kind of start this one over with the charted on that one. We have lots of red zones, very narrow in between the green and the red, going sideways. I'm not interested in this one at all. We'll talk about the S&P here in a little bit. Euro yen. This one up. Let's see pull the charts. Get my template up. Load. So if anybody has any questions, right now we're just hunting for trades right now, just seeing what's out there. I like the strong move up. Here's the moving averages. They're all in the right direction. Now they're starting to consolidate. One thing I'm going to show you this on the S&P, which I thought was real interesting, is that you had the strong move up, come back down. We had the pullback. This was our first pullback off of the top. Pulled back, made a little bit of a lower high. This is where I like starting to draw my trends near the top of a big move. And I think it's fair to say that this move from down here to yesterday's move, that was a pretty sharp move. you're probably going to be looking at some sort of a retracement on that. But what I like to see is I like to see we have a topping area. This was just going sideways. It pulled back, gave us our little, say, okay, it's breaking out of this range and it formed another little green zone. I'm going to be looking at this. As we get the prices to come down, take this one out. It's probably going to come down, test the 200 moving average, and then it's going to pop its way back up again. But this is where I'm going to be really looking for this trend line to hold, or or we may even have another trend line, which may even hold a little bit. Here's a bounce. There's a bounce arrow. Here's a go, but we've got to get through this. I do like the range. I think this is a pretty good range. This is 21 pips to the. If it can take this piece out, this little green zone out, it'd probably take it out. It may test this before it comes back up again. Now we're looking at this thing could be starting where you start getting your trend reversal. This would be the first leg of the M. Here's the middle of the M, second shoulder of the M, breaks down, and then it starts doing our little moves to the downside. So we can keep an eye on this one. Let's just see, where's the euro is right in the middle. And this was what was that trade again? That was the euro yen. So the euro is in the middle, yen is strong. So we are looking at the yen being a little bit stronger to the downside. So our strength is going to be in favor of the yen. And looking at it, in fact, it's the second currency of the pair, looking to the strength to the yen side, which is what's starting to do now. At the bounce, there's the arrow. We don't have the range to the green zone on the 15-minute chart. Let's see where we're on a 5-minute. Same possibility here. Now, if we go to the 15-minute, here's our arrow. Let's mark the arrow on this. This is sort of this would qualify. This would probably qualify as a bag trade here. There's the arrow. There's the low. Here's our 5-minute chart. I'd like to see it come back maybe and give us another entry into this. So here's our move up. Has some wicking down. Now we've got a nice little trend coming down this way. Here's our trend line. And we have this little zone right here, which is where it's checking out right now. Let's see if there's another little zone a little bit further back. Let's go on a 15-minute chart. This is the origin of the up move. Here's the first wave. If you were watching Corey the other day, talking about Elliott waves, this would be like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Let's see, this was probably more of a wave 3. This is probably wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, 5. This is the top of our 5-wave move up. This could be the first leg, and could get another leg. So this would be the first A, B, C coming down here. Look to retest. But it's going to have to take this out first. If it does take that out, we may have a little bit of we have 15 pips. But we're looking at this being a area where we have, this is where we have the, this is going to be kind of like a flat bottom. Maybe give it up a little bit higher, bring this one down. This is our potential wedge right in here. This thing, we don't know where this one's going to land yet, but we'll just have to wait and see if this little pivot holds. I would expect maybe this thing to fall, break, come back down, then maybe head back up again to retest this trend, this little wedge up there. Not in a big hurry to take this trade. If we look at the Fibonacci's on this one, if anybody sees something we need to be looking at, feel free to interrupt me on this. Here's our strong move up, following the trend. We have our moving averages in there. And right now, the moving averages are still somewhat consolidating around this area. Draw our zones. Upper 25, lower 25. Mark our target points. There's 38. Here's a 50. Then here's a 61. Move our fibs. And now we're all set to look and see where, waiting for it to come out of the upper 25%, which is just breaking out now. See if it can come down to tag the 38, and it's probably going to pop back up again. This could be a nice little down move. Let's see where it is on the 5-minute. Here's where we had the 15-minute arrow right in here. It wasn't exactly a complete bag trade because it did come down and did bounce up a little bit and didn't come back up into the zone. So this 5-minute arrow is a bag trade. Came up, bounced, straight arrow, and that would have been the go on this. That would have been on the 5-minute chart. But he had this little area right here. It is breaking through this 200, but now it's looking to see where it's going to land with this area. We are getting the close on the 5-minute. Let's see, did we get the close on the 5 minutes? And we just got the close on this, and it did close below the this first blue line, which is the this would be the 32.8 level. Now I'm looking right now. So at this point now, I'm looking to see. We had this area strong move down, first bounce up. Now we have the break. I'm going to start looking for the Fibonacci to the downside on this now. Our strength is still to the strength of the yen. These are Fibonacci's, breaking out of our upper 25%. And I'm looking for the pullback into this little area right in here. We did get the break of this pivot. And this would be my target area for the pullback. And see where it goes. This would be, the fact it broke through this level here, I'm looking for this as being the target, but I want to see it pull back first. I suspect this little zone may not hold.
What do you think of where the 200 is, Al, on this? I like the way the moving averages are, but that 200.
This 200?
Yeah.
I kind of like the fact it broke it, closed below, and broke it again the second time. So all of our other moving averages are right in order, which is a good thing. Now I'm waiting for this thing to pull back and probably retest the 200, retesting this heavy blue line right here on our, this is one of our target zones. Came down, I'm waiting for the target, mean basically I want to see a break below, break, retrace back up, and then break again. And then that would tell me that it's probably going to be looking at this area down here. But right now, I don't want to be trying to catch a falling knife right by a green zone. I'm going to see a little bit of a bounce on this. Come back up, retest all our moving averages in the same direction. Go to our 1-minute chart, and then make sure that when this green one, when this bounces, you see how the green came up, couldn't cross over the yellow. Right now, the yellow is still in control of the trend. I want to see another bounce up to the yellow. Maybe it might even go a little bit deeper, but then try and get in, and then looking for my target down to this side right here. So here's my target. I like to see, again, I like to see around 13 to 15 pip. So if it can pull back to the 23% of this move, I've got my 17 pips to my target, and I would be willing to take that trade. But right now we have to wait and see where this thing's going to end. So the fact this thing kept coming down, I'm going to move my target zones here. Move it down to the 23. I like the 23 to the 50 area. And I like to keep my stop above where the 61 is. Assuming if it comes up and gets me in, up in this area, whatever, if it comes up to the 38, wicks up and comes back down, I can put my stop above the 50. If it comes up to 50 and wicks and comes back down, I can put my stop above the 61. Either way, it's giving me further pullback to my target, which I'm looking at right down here. So this is a strong move up. And actually, we could probably start looking at this little area right now for the start of the trend. Let me move that. If I can move this thing over here. This one down. I like taking from the origin of where the first bounce was. Now it's starting to retrace, coming back into the 23. Oops, where's that? Yep, that's right. It did come right back up to the 23. Didn't go very deep in from that. There was a little bit of pullback. And do I have room to my target? So for remember, so I generally go for 7 pips. This zone did hold, which has me a little concerned that this one, even though it may be small, is still holding. At least a little bit more significant pullback off this wick right here. I like using the 5-minute candles preferably. Once I start getting the pullback, then I go to the 1 minute for the entry. But I like to see this thing come up at least a little bit, about halfway above this last candle. At least get this red line coming up into my zone. If this thing pulls back, the green line doesn't cross the yellow, and we still have the strength of the yen to the downside. And let's see where that is right now. The yen is still strong. Still strong on all 4 time frames. This is against the euro. The euro's we still have a good little spread here on the, well, not as much. I'd like to see a 3-point spread. It's not as much as I would like to see. You got a 6 and a 4. I'd rather see a 6 and a 3 or a 7 and a 4. Still hasn't really given me my pullback that I'd like to see. I just keep moving this down until I get what I'm looking for.
Actually, Al, I had a Aussie New Zealand about 7 minutes ago.
Aussie New Zealand?
Yeah, did you get that alert?
Let's see, take a look at that one. Aussie New Zealand. That was on what time frame there, Eva?
15. So you got the arrow. I wonder why it didn't pop up.
Yeah, I don't know. That happens occasionally where it just doesn't pop. Doesn't give me the sign. It's right up into a zone on the 15. Strong move up, crossed over the moving average. Got a nice little pullback. We're kind of right in the top of a zone here, though. Aussie, New Zealand, and let's see where the Aussie is way down here. New Zealand, they're both really they're neck and neck, so we're gonna pass on that. I need more of a split on that.
Fighting for the last place, these guys.
And let's see, anything else? Let's take a look. Nothing. Let's see, New Zealand yen. That might be a possibility. Then we can check our German 30 too and our UK 100.
Yeah, they're always good with or without an alert.
Let's see.
See, again, I like when the moving averages are spread out that way.
Yeah.
And you know, they're more or less in formation as they should be, but it looks like it's starting to move to the downside.
Yeah, we got a little consolidation right here. We do have this little zone, but this would be the target. This is my first target, and this would be if it can break this one, then this is the next target. But right now we got to get through this. And the question is, can you get through that and still make a profit? There's 37 pips, so that's not too bad. That's on a 1 hour chart. Let's go back to a 15 and see what we have. All the moving average here on the 15, we have the cross of the 200. This thing's kind of flat. We had the consolidation way up here, tested it. Here's a drop, here's a pullback. Now we're looking at this could be a nice little move to the downside possibly. The target zone would be from here to there. That's 14 pips. Let's go to a 5-minute chart and see what we have. I do like this little move from here to here.
You're on the 15 still. Did you know that?
Yeah. I'm just trying to see where my nice move down, pullback, made a new low. I'm going to move this whole thing down to this where the pullback was. Bring this on up. Now from that, I'm going to take it to the 5 and see what kind of range I have in between those zones. Probably not a lot of pips in between here and here. That's 3 or 4 pips. That's kind of marginal on that. Take it over to my 1-minute chart, spread it out a little bit. And we have New Zealand yen. Check the heat map on this. Yen, New Zealand. Yep, we can take it short. And we will take I'm going to take a sell stop on this one right below where this lowest point is, right about there. If it breaks, comes on down. Here's my target down along in here. And we're looking at from here to here. There's 8 pips to the 38. I'm just going to put my targets in. I'm not in this trade yet. And modify it. And target is going to be, let's see if we get in. The target is going to be right about the 79.35. Take profit, 79.35. And stop is going to be, let's make it 79.59. We'll call it for right now. And we'll see if it gets us into this trade. And like all the moving average, see how the screen came up to the yellow, couldn't cross over the yellow. Now the price is down below. Well, no, it's not quite down below yet. Still pulling up. Here's our entry zone. Here's the 23. Here's my entry. Here's where I like to be entered into this area. Or a tag above the arrow moving average and not a close if it can't close below. That'd be okay too.
Now, my question for you, if it closes above the 38, would that not make a higher high?
If it closes above the 38, that means it's going to be taking these pivots out right here. I would still see that this is the pivot that I want to see as being protected. If it breaks this pivot up here, then it's probably going to come back down to retest this low and then go up higher. As long as it stays within my 60, especially as long as it stays within the 60 and 38, which is now you got this 200 moving average coming down into the 61. But when you have a strong trend down like this, a lot of times now you're on a 1 minute chart, so you have to consider the fact that this would really be, see, that's 78. That'd be almost like a 1 hour candle, a little bit more than a 1 hour candle.
Okay.
This thing closed right at the, what time was that? Yeah, here's the hour close, right? Right. We're just about at the hour close, actually. So this was like the 1 hour. So from, that's 1500. So if we go back to 1400, which is right here, right about in here, this is about where the high of this is really our 1 hour candle right here from this point here to, let's just move this thing over to where the 1 hour candle is going to close. This is something you may want to be thinking about when you start looking at some of these ranges. Look and see where it would be for the higher time frame candle. Here's a 15. So right here, this candle is going to, well, just closed. So the 1 hour candle just went from here all the way down to here and then pulled back. That's still a very bearish candle on a 1 hour chart. If it can pull back up to the 61, that's not unusual but if it's a really strong down move with the 1 hour, this whole area right here, from here to here is your 1 hour candle. And now we're in the pullback right up into our zone right in here. If this thing can stay with this 1 hour candle being closed below, if it only pulls back up to the 23 or 38, it's probably going to go lower. Because that means it's got enough momentum to hold it. Now, how high it goes, I don't really know, but we'll see. But once it starts curling back down again, then that's where we get our entry to go short. And then looking for so here's a lower low from this area, pull back, still a bearish candle. It's still going to be a bearish candle until it crosses the 50. If it crosses the 50 going up, then it becomes more of a bullish candle. But right now, it's still a bearish candle, 1 hour candle, coming back up to retrace the 23 or 38% of this down move. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah.
But we're not in the trade. We're looking for the pullback. And I can almost even, if I wanted to be really aggressive with this, I could take this by entry and move it up to the 11.8. I'll move it just below the 11.8. Let's see how it comes up. But now we're still looking for, this is our key area right in here. I'll move this, here's my 50% of the move. Here's my 23%. It's now crossing into my 23% area. But we still have this moving average. This is our 62 moving average coming down. This one's still pointing down. This is flattening out. We have the crossover of the green and the yellow on the pullback. But if we can get on a 1 minute chart and have this thing go up and get the green and the yellow to cross again and still keep everything in the right direction, then we have the means for a nice little down move. And looking at this as possibly our target area. So right now, if I get into this trade, my target is going to be, I have a possibility of a 11 or 12 pip target as opposed to just a 7. I may still take just a 7 depending on how things are looking. But right now, even if I got in here, I could sell the potential of at least getting my spread taken out. And if it comes down here, I can't get my spread out, then I'll just get out of the trade. But this is a nice little pullback right here.
Danielle is saying it looks like a head and shoulders may be forming on the 1 hour. Now, what is the?
I want, well.
Is that significant for us?
Well, this could be the left shoulder. This would be like an upside down head and shoulders, I think is what she's talking about, or she's talking about this one.
She said the 1 hour. So on the 1 minute, I guess you can't see it the same.
Yeah.
But my question is that
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. So, okay, I see what you're saying now. Here would be, here's the head, here's the left shoulder going back down, forming, and this is right where we are right now.
So it's
And
the anticipation of that it's going to level out. Is that what the Head and Shoulders? I'm familiar with the Head and Shoulders.
Yeah, a lot. It's usually a reversal. It's usually a sign of a reversal. But oftentimes you'll see that the left shoulder, here's the head coming back down, forming the right shoulder. The only thing I don't like about a lot of times with that, though, if you take a line from the shoulder to shoulder, in this case, then it still kind of shows you that it's kind of in an uptrend. But this could be the retest of this little break. And then a lot of times you see the Head and Shoulders will break to the downside. But I do kind of, I can kind of see what she's talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
You may want to, I'd be willing to maybe even look at this as being the retracement point to that down move. Let's see what we got here. Just about to get me into this trade. I like this little pullback right here. They still have the strength. Everything, all our moving average, they're starting to get the crossover. Oh, we can see this here. They're starting to get the crossover of our green yellow cross going to the upside, came back up to the 23%. Couldn't go up any higher. If I get into this trade, I can move my stop down here a little bit lower. Move this one down to, let's put it down to right about between the 50 and 61. Actually, I could probably move it even a bit lower than that if I get into this trade. And I'm just about ready to enter into it. I'm in. Oh, our moving averages are in the right direction. Now we'll see it can it break through this green zone right here. One thing I don't like, wasn't able to break through this. Here's the low, here's a little bit higher low. Looks like this green zone is trying to hold here. It's working its way through. Here's a high, here's a lower high, here's a lower high. I'll put a trend line on this. I did break that bottom, but I kind of like it up here. Basically looking for that third hit. So here's the anchor. Here's our first hit right here. Here's a high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Actually, almost even take it with a flat top like this. There's the anchor. Here's the first hit. If it breaks above that, we're out of here. And now it's going lower. Let's see if it can break through this zone and keep on going. Let's check our strength meter while we're at it, while we're waiting for this thing to confirm. And the yen is still strong. And the euro is still, we have our 3-point spread there. We have our 3-point spread there. That means the yen's getting stronger to the euro. Oh, she didn't run on New Zealand. That's the wrong pair. New Zealand's still weak. The yen. So good. New Zealand's still weak. New Zealand's the first currency of the pair, so we're still looking at trading that to the weakness. We'll see if we can break through here. If you look at this so-called 1 hour candle, just going 1 hour candle, you can see this was a strong move down. This candle right now, you can just barely see because it's all covered up. But this was we had red, and then we had a strong move down, little pullback. Now we're looking at, I'm still looking at this area down here as a possibility of the retesting this zone, this green area right here, which is right at the 79.39 area. And that's right about where my target is. This has got to break through this little green area. Still waiting to see it for it to break through this bottom. Euro yen, 5 minute sell. That means the yen's still weak on the euro with the euro. Yen's still weak with the New Zealand. That's breaking down. Here would be the target zone. This was the wedge we drew earlier on the euro yen. It broke down, coming down. Remember I said if it breaks here, retrace it back up. Look, this was the target. We never did get into this one. We are into this New Zealand yen.
It's really moving down.
It looks like there's there's probably starting to wind down their sessions at the Asian market right now. Ending the week, ending the day. If the euro yen broke, then maybe the New Zealand yen will follow with it. Yeah, that broke nicely. This may be the slow horse in the race. All of our moving averages are still in the correct direction. It is kind of basing a little bit, going sideways a little bit more than I would like to see. I would like to see it break down a little bit faster than this, but it is what it is. Here's our hour chart. So right now we've been in this thing we've had good track this thing for 12 minutes. Yeah, this looks like it's trying to break through here. A lot of times you see one pair break with the same currency, and a lot of times you may see a break with another currency as well. Not always, but sometimes that can be a little clue. And struggling a little bit to get through this little green area. If you're in this on this this is the beginning of this 1 hour candle, and it hasn't really moved more than 6 pips in either direction. Well, that has to do with it was a fairly strong 1 hour move from here. This is where the opening was, and it went pretty much straight down. A small little pullback before it closed. This whole area right in here was this is a nice little move down, pulled back, pulled down. It's still respecting this area right in here, which is right where my 50% retracement of that move is. And where it just takes a little bit of patience.
We did have an S&P about 10 minutes ago on the 5-minute. Did you have that?
I actually haven't been looking at my, and actually did not remember seeing that. Let me have to check and find why I'm not seeing some of these. I get a lot of the pop-ups, but let me see where the S&P is here. You said it was about 5 minutes ago?
Yeah. It was,
Right there.
oh, you got it? Okay.
I haven't talked to you what I did with this one right now. That's a nice little move down. We're kind of inside a upper 25% range from the big picture. In fact, let me kind of explain to you what I did with this. I went to a daily chart on the S&P, and I looked to see where the big move was recently, and it came all the way back to pretty much. If you really draw the my zones I was looking at this move from here, which is way back in. This was back in March, basically. And I saw where this basically was a nice strong move up, a pullback, little move up, pull back, move up, retested. These are all new highs, pulled back a little bit. Then we had a strong move up, pull back, and then it came back down and tested here. And now it's moving up to retest the new high. This is the upper 25% of from here, this big move up, the retracement, and then here. Now, I drew my zones, my 25% zone here and up at the top. That's on a daily chart. This would be more, I'm trying to find out where this thing's going to fizzle out and start really giving us a strong move to the downside. And so if you go to I'll go to a 1 hour chart. So here is my upper 25% zone. Here's the upper 25 where the shaded area is. Well, then I took it and look, and actually, this is a pretty big area. If you look in this whole area right here, you're looking at from 42.45 to 41. That's $100 move. That's $100 zone. So right now, it's pretty much it's been going sideways inside this zone ever since, pretty much May 20. Actually, last week. These are all daily charts, daily breaks here. So the whole week, it's just been kind of stuck in this upper 25% range that was made way back over here to the left. So since this is a range it's in, I redrew the fibs to to get another zone inside. And so right now once it breaks out of this upper 25% that we were talking about from the higher time frame, once it breaks out from this zone out here, we could start and can break this pivot. We could start going a lot lower, perhaps even next month. So the next target right now is going to be somewhere right around the 38.20 once it breaks out of this upper 25%, and it can break through here. But right now we have an upper wedge. I'm just waiting to see if it makes a new high or not. If it can make a new high, then we have to redraw it. But if this high holds and this low holds or gets broken, we could be looking for another pullback to the upside and then a big drop. So we could be looking at a drop, pullback, retest, and then a bigger drop in the longer term. And this could take a whole month to make that happen. So,
Okay.
and so that's kind of my analysis with that. And from a bigger picture standpoint. So right now we have where is it at right now? Here's my ultimate high right up in here. This is the zone right here. This 100%. This is where the all-time high is. And I'm just looking to see where things are lying in between. These are going to be my main target zone. I've made orange lines on these. These are the orange horizontal lines. That's the higher time frame. These are the zones. Actually, I think this is a trend line here. Just make sure that that's a trend line. I'm gonna just delete that one right now because I don't want to lose this. So these are my higher time frame zones right here. This is where it's going to be breaking out of the upper 25% of this one.
And that's you're expecting that like in a month?
Well, yeah, this is sort of my longer term projections of where it would. Ideally, I would like to find the top of this thing before it really breaks to the downside. But it's going to be a lot of whipsawing around until that happens. And meanwhile, we try and trade the inside of it. But we're trying to find out where this thing's where the highs were actually made, and try and figure out how to trade it. I don't want to be trying to catch an upward move because it keeps on going higher. It's been making new highs. But right now, it made the new high, had a strong pullback, which is right around this pivot area here. Once it can break through that, once it can break through this little pivot here, which is the low made around the 14th of May, once it can break through that low, I expect it to break through that, give us a downtrend, but then come back up and retest that range to the 78% retracement, and then start breaking down, trending on down. And it's probably going to happen pretty quickly when it does, because when the big boys decide to bail on the S&P, they're going to bail in a big way. And you're going to see 100 pip moves, $100 moves in the course of hours, probably. It's always nice to be able to catch those, but it's hard to do so without getting whipsawed out of it.
Yeah. Unless you're just in it for the long term. And
yeah, you just take your position, take the long-term position, just hold on to it.
Right now, I've actually got a sell in the S&P at the 41.98 area, and I'm just going to hold it because I know it's going to break at some point.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens. So
then just becomes a matter of how much heat can you take. If it breaks that, if we made the all-time high and it's going to break from that, you're going to be in good shape. If it keeps on breaking that, you're going to end up getting a lot of drawdown that you're going to have to figure out how much weather you want to weather with it.
Exactly.
But it's a long-term play, and that's where swing trading is. I mean, basically swing trading, which is basically what that is, or position trading. You have to be willing to accept, if you're going to try and pick a top or try and pick a bottom, you're going to have to accept some major drawdown in the process, because oftentimes it will make those new highs and lows.
Yeah.
Before the big break actually happens.
Yeah, I'm not big on the swing trading, but this time I'm a reluctant swing trader from when the S&P did that weird thing that it did a few weeks back, and it caught me in sells at high points, at low points. And so now, actually, just to let the group know too, I've managed little bit by little bit, but you got to have the patience of Job to do this. But I've managed little bit by little bit, getting out of my hedge buys. And now I've got a buy that's lower than my sell and a sell that's higher than my buy. So one of them's always in the blue at the moment. So, it's like a game of chess. So patience is going to win out on this thing. So I'll keep you guys posted how I'm doing with it. But for now, I'm looking good. So I'm happy.
Good. We're back talking about our New Zealand yen trade, which we are in this thing. I'm put to another parallel from this was a strong move. Here's the pullback, and then it's strong move down. Here's the pullback. So I like this trend right here. But I'm going to draw a parallel trend because it's still basically in a downward trend. But off of this pivot, I'm just going to draw a parallel to this line and keep my stop above it. Because that way, if it comes back up and head fakes me into here, it's still going to have to respect the overall trend. That be looking for that first hit off of this anchor to see where the first hit of this may be, if it does retrace back up to that.
So Anne is telling us to check gold. Yikes.
Check gold?
Yeah.
Oh, let me see. Let me guess what gold's doing. Like one can only guess. Gold. Let's see here. Move this down here too. Here's my gold is right in here. You're gonna see what gold's doing. Gold's going.
That's Bitcoin.
That's Bitcoin. Wrong one. Got to grab the gold. Wrong one. Gold is dropping, huh?
Wow.
That's that's a shocker. It's just right now. It's just in a pullback. Looking at the higher time frame, Here was the new day. So we had basically made a higher high overnight, trending up. Now it's just retracing some of that. This was what, Wednesday, the 21st. So here's Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. So we had a strong move up, pull back, strong, kind of a weak sideways motion, strong move up, pull back, retesting the moving average. Let's see, templates, my template up here. And so what I'd be looking at with this, looking at the hourly moves, here's the overnight move. Where's our money zone on this? Here's our money zone. We don't talk about that much lately, but mainly because we're not in the overnight session to really grab that, but it is part of the strategies. Here's the money. Here we had the money zone break from the yesterday's low. You see where yesterday we kind of went pretty much sideways. Overnight, it was tracking inside yesterday's money zone area, and now it broke. And it broke overnight off of this candle, came back down. Let's see what it'd give you here for it. We're giving you about a $5 move, $11 retrace, and now it's coming back down. So there's a trend. Here's our upper trend. Here's our high, lower high, lower high. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. It'll probably come back up and retest that at some point in time, which is right where this zone is. Now the question is, how low is it going to go? We do have a zone right down here. Now let's go to a higher time frame to see where the upward move is. I like this move to the upside. So this would be where I would draw my Fibonacci. This is a range that's playing in right now. Here's the low, high. It made a lower low, and then it broke out. Here's the origin of the breakout. I'm going to move it on up to this way. Higher time frame area. Let's see where it is on how I can draw this out. Here's my upper 25%. Here's the money zone. I'll just draw from the money zone over to, remember, today is the last day of the month, last week, day of the week, last day of the month. And I'll have a whole new month starting, and next month it's going to be a whole nother ball game. But we'll still keep playing the game as we've been playing it. Here's our lower 25 for the day. And it's right now it's coming into that lower 20. So this is our range. That's the range from here to here, zone to zone. That's a $15 move in between with the gold. Go to our 5-minute chart and see if we can find any. Actually, let me put my zones in here, my targets. Our trade's not working very well, is it?
What is it?
My New Zealand trade.
No.
How many pips am I down? I'm only down 6. There's only 6 pips, so that's still well within my tolerance. Oh, nice move. Here's a bounce. Here's a pullback. Now the question is there enough of a pullback to, if you want to try and take that short again? Let's go to a 1-minute chart and see what we have here. Here's our near cross. Here's our pullback from here to here. Let me get my objects. Here's my fib. Remove that one because I have my zones already drawn. Take a look at the fib on this one from here. Strong move down. Wicked up, pull back, 50% pullback. Green came up, kind of crossed the yellow, and now it's pointing back down, and we're looking for more weakness now. And it came right down to our lower 25%. We have everything's in the right direction. We could probably try taking a little short on this one. I'm not going to take a half, 0.05 on this. Now, if we get it Where's our 5-minute candles? And how much time do we have? We have 2 more minutes. I like to see a 5-minute close below this 38. One minute to go. Let's see if the 5-minute can close below this 38 line.
Is that a 5-minute fib, Al?
That's a, this is a 5-minute candle I'm looking at, but right now I'm just looking at from this move down, pull back to the 50%. This from this here, from this origin to the low, pull back 50%. And it did cross over these blue lines that we had drawn from the, and here's our lower 25% zone. And I'm going to take this in short. Let's see what I can get out of this one. It's come down, at least test the 0 line. Let's see if it can break through this zone that just formed. And my stop, see my target is going to be, don't like that. These little zones are holding today. If I get a crossover the green, I'll be out of this trade. I'm not going to give this one a lot of room. Strong move down, pulled back. Couldn't quite make that 75% line either. We'll see how it does. These moving averages are still pointing down, so this could just be another pull back to the upside. And a lot of times this is why I don't like trading on Fridays.
Well, this is gold. It doesn't matter what day you're trading.
And it's gold, and it's gold.
So I've learned my lesson. I don't get in gold anymore unless it's absolutely perfect. And even then, my take profit is very close.
And I just got stopped out with the other one too. Let's see if it respects this one. This is a 78% retracement off of this zone right up here. It's coming up into this upper 25% of this strong down move. It's still within this range. Just a little deeper pullback. That's a strong move down and just came back right up and retraced it. We'll see how it goes here.
When we're finished with the gold, can we have a look at the US 30 on the 1 hour? Garvin is asking if you could analyze it for him. He placed a long position yesterday. And
anyway, I'm out of here. I'm out of that. I'm getting out of that thing. All right, let's see. Enough for gold. US 30, what was the US 30?
US 30 on the 1 hour.
I'm going to have to pull that one up. I don't have that one on my charts. Let me see. I'm going to have to go get that one.
You've got the US 30 Pro there.
I do? US?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah, let me try that. Chart window, pull up my template. Pull up the template. And then he said the 1 hour?
He said he got, yeah, the 1 hour. And he said he got into it, the long position yesterday on the second candle after the arrow alert. And he's considering holding.
This one here.
Yeah, he's considering holding his position straight to the resistance. He'd like to know your thoughts.
So you got in right about in this area right here. Here's the alert. There's a bounce arrow go. Where's the top of it? Well, we don't know how the top is up here. And you're profitable at this point. Let's see here. Let's get a higher time frame zone here. Here's the move down. Here's the retracement. Here's our high. Here's our low. Everything's in between these 2 points. So I'm going to use that for my main Fibonacci. For that, it's coming right in at the upper 25%. It could still keep on going a little bit deeper into here. We're on I'm on a 4-hour time frame here. So let's look at this, what the price action looks like. It came right up to that upper 25% and it stalled. Go back here. Let me just draw that out. There's the upper 25. On the higher time frames, oftentimes it will go into this upper 25 and just hang in there and make some waves around before it comes out when you're on the upper time frames. So you have to have a little bit of patience for that, especially if you take them on like hour time frames and the like thereof. There's a lower 25. Remember, I do say I like to draw these zones on higher time frames. So 15 minutes is usually about as low as I like to do. I usually like to get at least an hour, other than if I'm in the trade trying to find my targets and find pullback points. But for overall targets, I like to see these in these zones. So from right now, I'm looking at, we have our zones marked. I'm just going to take this.
We've also just had a UK 100 alert, just to make you aware.
UK 100, okay. Oh, busy day today.
Yeah, seems to be.
Can't seem to get to grab this little Fibonacci. No. When I can't grab it, I'm just going to have to go and just delete it here. Just can't seem to grab those things when I need to. So right now, looking at this thing, go to a 15-minute chart. I tagged it, pulling back. Never really got into that zone. I say once it breaks this area, then start looking for a pullback. Now we did have, here's a little trend here. Here's the anchor. Here's the first hit. There's our trend line. Here's the pivot that I'm looking at. Well, this is the pivot I'd be looking at to break on this 5-minute. Came back down, tested this one, pulled back up. So this pivot here is being respected. Here's our 200 moving average down here. From here to here, this is our wedge down move. We have all the moving averages in the right direction going short, but we had the bounce off of this. I'd probably like to see it get up a little bit higher and then maybe take it short again. This is our new range right now. This is our wedge. So if it comes back up, now we have this move down. Now the question is, where's the strength? Moving averages are pointing down. Everything's in the right direction, bouncing off the 200. I'd say there was the pullback right now. We very missed that pullback to come back down, but also retested this. So we have another secondary trend. from here down to here. That one held. So the bottom held, this one held. I have to wait and see if it can break. Well, I'll tell you right now, I don't know where this thing's going. I really don't know where it's going. Right now, it's range bounding between here and here. I say possibly be a buyer down here and a seller up here, sell up here and buy down, back down here. I would probably stay out of this middle range. I like this 200 that's bouncing off, and these are still above it, but it's still, I would say I'd be more apt to go look into the short side on the pullbacks, but it's going to be, it could be a wild ride for you. Let's go with the.
So if you're profitable, you might want to think about.
Yeah, if you're profitable, I'd say take your profits off and wait till the next week. Right now, remember, you're at the end of the month. We're at the end of the week.
You don't want to hold it over the weekend.
Yeah, try not to hold it over the weekend unless you, I mean, really, I mean, if you really like it in that direction, hang in there with it. But I usually like closing my weeks and my months out with being flat. UK 100, looking at this on the 1 hour charts. Where's our zone? Where's our range? This is the bigger range from here. Here's a pivot low. Here's a pivot low, higher low. Came back down, rejected. So I'm looking at a trend from here. And so I usually like to see where the lowest low and where I have a higher low. So here's a low, here's a higher low, here's a high. Here's a higher low. And so I like to see where these, I like to look at the range where the bounces are coming from and see where it's going in with the direction. And I forgot to draw my fibs, my moving averages. Okay, here's our moving averages. We have this trend here. I don't like these big wicks like this where it comes back down, bounces back up. I don't like that. We had a nice little pullback in here. I'm going to use that anyway. This is about the best thing I can do. Came back down, strong pull back up. Came back down, strong pull back up.
Let's go. Give me 1 minute. Let's go sit.
I actually just wanted to take a moment to wish Anne a very happy birthday.
Oh. Happy birthday, Anne.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy your day and your trading is green.
Yeah. This UK one, I don't like the fact it's kind of inside this wedge right here, and we have this zone up here. I don't know which, again, I don't know which way this thing's going. I'd probably have to draw my Fibonacci's from here down to this area and see where my upper and lower 25% zones are. And the thing is, if you do this, and if you just want to be patient enough, just wait till it gets up into, if you get up in the upper 25 and you want to take it short, just make sure your stop is above the in case it breaks out of the outside. But if it's range bound, like here's range bound, we got a high, a low, lower high, higher low, lower high, higher low. It's inside the range, but the range is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. So it's like, you can usually get through that maybe once when it's range bound like this. Once or maybe, oops, wrong thing. I didn't want to do this. I'll get the right tool here. But when it becomes range bound, you just, but then you're going to have to look at your stop is going to have to be, you're going to have a, now that's on this one, the UK one, that's the 18, let's call it 19 units. So you're going to have your, a 19 unit stop or $19 or 19 pound stop on that. This is the area where it's still trying to get through. Here's our lower, here's our 25% zones. Comes back down, you can maybe try and take it long down here, go up there for 47, up there, go down for 47 until it breaks out of this trend. But that's what it's doing right now. It's just trying to find that trend. You can almost even take it to the, yeah, I kind of like it just like that. That's my assessment. It's basically range bound, and try and go short up high, long down below. I'm not really liking a lot of these chart patterns today. What's gold doing? Besides driving me crazy. Straw move down, straw move up, coming back up, retesting. It's still trying to break through this. It still hasn't broken through the $1,900 mark. But I would not be surprised to see it start breaking its way up there over the summertime. That's what it did last summer, right around June, July. It started making this move, made new highs. I'd be more bullish on gold, I think, than short on it overall. We don't need this thing. We don't need to go all the way to the 1 hour here. 15 minutes usually good enough. Give us a little more chart space.
What if you closed your market watch? Would that be helpful?
If I did what? Oh, yeah, I would. Thank you. Let's see. That's probably about good as it gets there. Oh, now we at least know the 30-minute has a little trigger on here. Let's take a look at this one. Friday before the weekend, before holiday. Like I said, just a reminder for everybody that we're going to not have a session on Monday. Monday's a U.S. holiday. I'm going to take the day off and give Eva a break as well.
Thank you. I mean, considering I couldn't have my long weekend last weekend. It would be nice to have a weekend.
And least of all, do not forget why we have the holiday in the U.S. is to commemorate and memorialize all of our veterans that gave their lives for our freedoms. At least we not forget. Let's see, EuroCAD. Here we go. No, not a bounce arrow go. It's just a down arrow in the middle of nowhere. Let's see what 1 hour looks like.
Now, before the session ends today, could you just make time to show Ann how you set up your alerts on your desktop, or not your desktop, but your dashboard in the arrow, so that you have 2 chart windows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, let me just do that now before it's getting near the end of our session here. I'm not seeing anything I want to take anyway. So, yeah, if you want to set up, basically you want to set up another dashboard. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so all you have to do is go to your marketplace, your market watch. I'd just give it a name. It doesn't have to be anyone. I just pick one that I like. I like for my indexes and cryptos. I have I use the Bitcoin one, so I know that my tag down here for Bitcoin, that's going to be all my indexes and my cryptos. And if you're like, say you're like to trade the US pair, I mean, you can give it any name you want. Just pick any chart. Doesn't really matter. So just go to, we'll just go like a US yen. I'll go right click, click up the chart window. You have a fresh cleared window. It doesn't really matter what time frame. I don't know if it does matter or not. I'll usually put it on a 15-minute chart. From here, now you have a fresh chart. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to where it says template. And here where this template, you'll see where it says blackout. Click on blackout and you see it blacks out the whole screen. From this point, now you have your blank dashboard with nothing on it. I can get rid of this and I can pull up my navigator and you'll see where you have the expert advisor that says arrow dashboard. Take the arrow dashboard, click on that, slide it over, and here comes your chart. Check the about. This is the last version of it. Make sure the common tab you have allow DLL imports checked. Without that checked, you won't get anything. Nothing's going to pop up on the screen. Go to the inputs, and from here you just sort of decide what do you want to be looking at. If you want to be looking at all 28 pairs, just click on all 28 pairs, and you have your time frames there that you can do. Now here's the one thing that's real important to remember, because slide down here where it says default. You have to change that default to all capital letters, arrow, R-O, and let's say, so that's the key right there in order to get them to pop up. What that does is that when you click on the little box on the dashboard, the arrow chart will propagate and pull the chart up with the arrow dashboard behind it. And if you only wanted just the, let's say you just wanted the, let's see, what chart did I make this thing? I made it a US, I think. If you wanted to say, just want to look at all the euro pairs, click on the euro, click OK. And just the euro pairs pop up. And it has all the time frames. If you don't want as many time frames, right click, go to Expert Advisor, Properties, and you can eliminate some of these higher time frame. But make sure that whatever you do, make sure that you have the comma, not a period, but a comma in between. I'll just get rid of this daily, and
So
I don't think you need the comma at the end.
So realistically speaking, if anybody wanted to, they could actually go through and do a different dashboard for all the New Zealand pairs, for all the pound pairs.
Exactly. Yeah, you could just you could just pull up those pairs, and
so that they can have multiple dashboards showing.
Right, you could have multiple. Yeah, exactly. And actually, there's some benefit to that, just for the fact that you wouldn't get, as you see with my one chart, I've got a whole bunch, and I start running out of space on the bottom. Whereas if you just have the different pairs, you can do the core pairs, which like they had a core 7 pairs. Now, if you do that once, I think it's going to, if you add another set, I think it's going to add them. No, it didn't either. Just changed them. But anyway, so that's how you do it. And then when you, what did I do here? Then when it's all set, you click on that, and it should give you. Let me see here. Let me see what it's got here. Trying to get loaded up here. It's starting to run a little slow on me here. Double check your expert advisor. Make sure that the properties have that. Yep, that's all set. That's about this one. Make sure that we have the arrow. That's set. Propagates, and click on the chart, and then chart pops up. And that's how it works. This looks pretty good actually here. Strong move down, bounce arrow, go. But it's our boy. This is on a 15-minute. Where did this one come from? What time did that happen? That happened at, that was the middle of the night. Heading on down to, that's a big move down to the downside. British US. When did we see that one before?
couldn't tell.
Well, see, that was 5:45 this morning. That's why we didn't get the alert was already well
That
done.
explains a lot.
But that looks like a nice little move here. And if you have your template up, just pull your template. You can have all your moving averages already loaded in there. Change your template, and then you have all your moving averages. Everything's moving down. Boy, this is nice. Actually, too bad it's Friday. This we're in the middle of the week, I'd probably be all over this one. 15-minute chart.
How much room is there to the zone?
From here right now, there's still 15 pips to the zone.
You can still grab a few, no?
You could maybe this would be just a go for it type of thing.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, look at the moving averages are perfect the way that they're fanned out and they're right in the right order on the 5 minute.
And we just had a little pullback. There's no zones at all in here. Let's take a shot at this one. I'll leave my stop up here to somewhere around the, I'm going to keep it above the 62. That'd be at 41.50, 141.54. $140. 141.54. My stop way up there, and then keep my target. My target's going to go. I just may as well put the target down to where the first zone was. Make my target 41.25. Here's my trade. See what happens. I'm just gonna let this one ride. It'll probably get me out before the end of the day. That's a pretty nice little move though. It's like all red candles, it barely even look back. Here's a little bit of a pullback. Here's a little pullback. This was the last one. Go to a lower time frame. Smooth it out. Here's a strong move down. Let's draw Fibonacci from. Here's the origin of the move. Never really looked back much until from here. You see it pulled back 38%. Made a new low. From this pullback, made a low, pulled back 50%, a little deeper pullback. Make a new low, go from the last pullback, and the target should be down below here until it works its way down to our target zone.
I jumped in on that one too.
I think, and that's about all I have to say about that. We're getting just about near the end. Any last minute questions, comments, anything else you want to see before? And like I said, we're gonna pass on being here Monday, and we'll be back Tuesday, normal time, 7:30 to 9. No questions?
Clear. You too, Ann. Have a great long weekend, everybody.
Okay. All right. Thanks everybody for being here. We're going to go and wrap this thing up. Thanks everybody for being here. Like I said, we love having everybody, and we appreciate your attendance and your participation. Sorry, didn't get a little more profitable trades out today. I got bit myself here, but that's just the way trading goes sometimes. Anyway, it's been a good month, and we'll look for a good month again next month. So take care and stay safe. Have a good holiday for everyone in the U.S. And for those of you who aren't in the U.S., have a safe weekend. Again, take care.
All right. See you all later. Have a great, great weekend, guys.